Hi, welcome to Black to Bitcoin, where we discuss the need for Bitcoin in the Black community. I'm Tiffany, and today I am going to do a little Bitcoin 101. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because when I first started learning about Bitcoin, I always came across videos that talked about how great it is. You know, why it's better than the US dollar, why it's so fantastic, why, it's going to fix the system. Just all these whys and why it's great. But I didn't really find videos on just the basics of what it is, when it started, how it came to be and things like that. So I thought I would do a video on that. So this is going to be just straight facts, nothing, philosophical, where I'm talking about how amazing it is, okay? Y'all hear that anyways. Y'all hear enough of that. I'm going to give y'all just some straight facts, and I'm going to try my best not to go on a tangent. I'm making no promises, but I'm going to try, okay? But before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and that you give this video a like. It helps the algorithm and, assists trying to grow her channel. So, give me a little love, All right, so I have my list here. So I literally just have bullet points here, like dun, 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 like just straight up. This is what this is what, just like that. So I'm going to go through it. And I'm not going to go too far on explaining each point, but if I do feel like I need to, give a little bit more explanation, I will do so. Okay? All right, so let's start it off. First, it was started in 2009, so it is a very new asset out of all the assets. It was created by Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, this is interesting because this is not a real person. Well, no, let me take that back. It is a real person. We just don't know who it is. The name is not real. We don't know who it is. And there have been some, guesses about who it is. People are always trying to, clue together these pieces. But as of yet, nobody has been able to crack the code. So this person, some people think it's a group of people, decided to, come out with Bitcoin as a solution to the system. All right, so that was its main purpose, and for it to eventually be the currency used because it is the currency for the people by the people, and it eliminates all kinds of other things. But that's getting into a little philosophy, so I'm moving back. All right, so Satoshi Nakamoto, okay? The way you need to look at it is that it is an actual currency. Now, this is where a lot of people aren't really understanding what Bitcoin is. They're thinking of it as just typical cryptocurrency, and it's not. Okay, Bitcoin is actual money. So it's currency. So just like the US dollar can be used to purchase things, Bitcoin can also be used to purchase things. It's not as, popular as the US dollar, but it is growing in power and pretty soon is probably going to overcome the US dollar. So it is actual money. And I just want to distinguish it from like another crypto, like, Ethereum or XRP or whatever, any other one. They have their great uses as well, but Bitcoin is actual money. Okay. I have that it's decentralized. So this is the main facet of Bitcoin and why it is what it is and why people covet it so much. So decentralized means that there's no middleman. All right. So there's no bank that can hold up your money. If you wanted to get $50,000 out of the bank right now, you wouldn't be able to do it. It would be like you'd have to jump through hoops. There would be time, for them to approve it, all of that. If you wanted, $500, well, let's not even say that. Let's say you wanted that $50,000 Saturday night at 8 p.m. Could you get it? No. But with Bitcoin, you can. So there's just no reliance on a middleman. There's no CEO, there's no bank, there's no institution. It is You control it, and that's it. Okay. All right, so those are like some typical like definition things. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about how it works. So this is like the hardest thing to grasp for most people, and it's understanding how it works as far as where is it? Where is the Bitcoin? Okay, so there is this thing called the blockchain. So the blockchain is, you can kind of look at it as a network of tons and tons of computers. Another way it's been explained, that is a good explanation, not exactly the same thing, but the internet. So if you think about the internet, okay, it can be used by everybody, but it's not controlled by anybody. So everyone can use it. Think of it that way as far as usage. It's not the same thing because the internet is controlled by people, because basically we have to go through Verizon or whoever to access it. So it's not exactly the same thing, but in the concept of using it, you can look at it that way. But basically the blockchain, you can look at it as a ledger. So anytime a transaction is made, it goes on the blockchain. And what this does is it makes everything transparent. So there's no sneaking. All right? You don't have to trust other people. So if you're, dealing with the bank, you have to trust that they have your money, because in the end it's not your money. Because they take your money, they hold your money, and once you give it to them, they use your money to do other things. They give out loans, they pay debts, they do whatever they need. So it's not actually your money. All right, so the blockchain makes it where the transactions are clear. You can see who's getting what. You can see a dollar transaction, or you can see a $50 million transaction. Okay, and it's not really traceable. So once you, and let me just, this is a whole nother thing, because I don't want to get too far into it, but there's different ways. So just to be clear, if you're buying your Bitcoin and you keep it on like an exchange like Robinhood or Coinbase or things like that, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about once you take your Bitcoin off of those and go and get a wallet to hold it. Because let me just say this, there's this saying in the Bitcoin community, okay? Not your key, what is this? Now I'm gonna mess up the phrase. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin, something like that. Basically saying if it's not on a blockchain, if you don't have a seed phrase and you're just having it on a hot wallet, is what they're called. So Robinhood, Coinbase, all of those, you don't own the Bitcoin. But that's a topic for another day, and me going on a tangent like I do. Okay, so let me get back to it. So the blockchain is basically a transparent ledger that makes sure everybody is staying honest. Okay, so that is how the money is stored. Now, if you have a wallet, the actual device is not holding your Bitcoin. Okay, so that is, you know what? I'm going too far. I'm going to get back to the point, because I'm going too far on this blockchain stuff, and I'm going to do a video on the blockchain all by itself, because it is definitely a lot of details on it. So just know that the blockchain is transparent and it's like a ledger. Okay. The next thing I have on the list is that it has a limited supply. So when Bitcoin was created in 2009, all right, only 21 million were to be mined over time. And yes, it is mined. So Bitcoins are mined by actual miners, like coal, things like that. People actually mine it, okay? And that's how it ends up in the supply. Now, 21 million is the most there will ever be. And the way this works is that there's not just 21 million coins just lying somewhere, just up in the air, and anybody can just grab all of them. The way that Bitcoin was created is that every 4 years, more coins would be mined, okay? But less than before. All right, so every 4 years is like less made, and then more supply out to the public, basically. And so basically 2140 is when the last mining will happen. So it's not like 21 million coins are already out there. However, 20 million are. Okay? 20 million of the 21 are out there. All right? So what that means is that it's very scarce. Okay? Right now, people who get it, they get it. It's a good thing. And that's me going on a tangent again. Let's get back to the list. There's only 21 million of them. Okay? I have that it's global and borderless. So pretty much Bitcoin, you can send it anywhere. You don't, without barriers. So obviously you can send money, but there's barriers, there's fees. There's just all this red tape to, send some money to someone, a loved one in another country. Bitcoin eliminates that. They have a wallet, you have a wallet, you do the transaction, you send them the whatever, how much money you got to send them, they accept it, they got it. Now, if they need to transfer, they need to convert that money into dollars, then so be it. But you've gotten that money to them without any interference. So that is one of the beautiful things, okay? And then last, I have, well, this isn't last, but it ties into a whole nother point, but it can't be taken from you unless you do something to allow it to be taken from you. Okay? Banks can seize your money. Okay? They can freeze your assets. Governments have collapsed. Banks have collapsed. People lose all of their money. Wars have been started over it. Chaos has been started over it because people don't own their money. That won't happen with Bitcoin. You own it. No one can take it from you. No one can seize it. No one can, deny anything for you. You own the Bitcoin. So that is one of the major facets of it as well. And that's going to take me into the last point, which is the reason it can't be taken from you is that, yes, it's on a blockchain. Yes, all the other things that I talked about, it not being, no middleman, all that. However, the main thing is that you own it with your own key. All right? Now, a Bitcoin key is a seed phrase. So what this is when you take your Bitcoin off of a hot wallet, and hot wallet, I mean Robinhood, Coinbase, all of those, and you put it into an actual hard wallet. So I'm talking about like Ledger, you have Trezor, Keystone, like any of these wallets, you're going to get a seed phrase, okay? Now, this is a 12 or 24 word phrase, not word phrase, it's a 12 to 24 word list that only you have access to, and it's the only thing that can determine if you send or receive money. So, if somebody gets your seed phrase, you are done. Okay? You have to look at your seed phrase as something that is the most precious thing that you've ever had. It has to be secure, and it has to be, I can't, you know what? First of all, I'm not supposed to be saying this because I'm getting off a tangent on the video. So there's that. However, I don't think it's ever a waste to talk about the risk of having Bitcoin and how you have to do what you have to do. It's easy to own, but it is responsibility. Okay? So that's not a waste of time or space because that's a good point to make, but it has nothing to do with what I wanted to say in this video. But yes, Bitcoin, the last point was that you own the asset by having a key, and having a key is basically having a seed phrase, and a seed phrase is a list of 12 or 24 words. All right, so that is the gist of Bitcoin. I'm going to do a very, very short wrap up, okay? created in 2009, created by Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody knows who that is. It could be a group or a person. It is a digital currency. It is decentralized, so there's no middleman, no banks, nothing like that. It's on the blockchain, so basically it's a ledger where everybody can see everything and it's transparent. There's a limited supply, so there's only 21 million of them to ever be created. It's global and borderless, which means you can send it at any time without any interference, any red tape. It can't be seized. It can't be blocked because it is on the blockchain and only you have access to it. And the reason that you have access to it is because you have the key, and the key is a list of 12 or 24 words, and no one can ever have those words, and you have to hide them like your life depended on it. Okay. I'm gonna add it again, but anyways, all right, so that is the video. That's my Bitcoin 101, just the straight up basics of it. All right, there's so much that can be expanded on each one of these points, but I think it's good to just have an overall understanding of what it is. Okay, all right, so that's it. Make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel. We have so much more to talk about when it comes to Bitcoin. Other than that, have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.